gonna be back on, hello? Alright, we're gonna be playing,
I asked him to describe it.
EDITH FINCH. This is part 2 episode 1.
He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself.
Oh, by the way, if you guys hear music, it's okay.
But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
Yes, Mom. Mom, help me. Mom. I need your help.
In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a...
I'm straight, I'm sorry.
handsome queen.
But I approve of LGBTQ. I mean, yeah.
The Queen was on her own quest for sinister serpents. She followed the sound of her silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king.
I'm gonna keep walking.
For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Yield before your king. Did I snap out of it?
He began to forget the world we know.
Dude, that looks pretty cool. Don't do drugs, kid. Oh, okay. I am the king.
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
Oh my god. Lewis.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
Yo, what's up, dog? I'm gonna go up there. Dude. Dude. Where is he? Can I go up with him there?
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
Oh, I could just write it.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him.
I am the king. You have to just like fight on it. I don't want to go. This is hard.
His queen waited, holding his crown. was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head.
Dude, that's a guillotine!
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Your son was a... Dude! He put his head.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
I wish you could have met him. Now I'm just gonna do Odin and Eddie. Oh, there's this thing in the locker. Oh, I gotta push it. Alright. Or pull it. What am I doing?
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
Wait. Whoa, alright, before I go in here, I came from like over there, I believe.
I wish we'd stayed.
Shoot.
But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind.
Oh God, you of course. To teach and learn. That's crazy. It's like all of her
What
family
happened that night had been
died.
coming for a long
What happened
time.
that night?
Maybe it should have come sooner.
So this is my room.
But it
Oh, I
had to
climbed.
end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Dude, I thought that was a knife. Oh, is it gonna die with me killing myself?
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Everything is her now? Bro, I wanted to eat, dog. Sorry guys, doing something in real life. Alright, what do I gotta do? She said in the hall? Dude, holy
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
History of the Finches by EDITH Finch. Eddie
Dear
Finch.
Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way.
Yeah, just keep going forward, dog.
I got turned around.
Huh?
For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things.
Frick? Yo, what did deer just jump over?
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
What is that?
But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them.
Dude.
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go.
No.
I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car.
Mom.
I never saw Great Grandma Edie again.
I love you.
The next morning, the van
Did she
came to
tell
pick
me
her
the
up, but she was already gone.
Dude, why the hell did my mom throw me in the car?
After that, we moved around a lot.
Okay. Yeah, totally gnarly, dude.
We both tried to make the best of it.
We did what it was. Totally gnarly.
A few years went by.
A few years went by. Why does it don't work?
My mom didn't like to talk about it,
Yeah, better shake it, dude.
but she started getting sick a
Get
lot.
off of it, dude. Oh,
The rest happened pretty
oh, you
quickly.
just like coughed my thingy majiggy. Mother?
She got better for a while, and then she didn't.
Mother? Mother, I love you.
And then I was alone.
Mother.
The last Finch left alive.
Mother.
Until I found out about you.
I'm not a Finch, dog.
I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived
the kid.
forever,
Oh,
maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes.
Dude, I'm tripping balls.
And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is.
Come here, boy.
This journal was supposed to be for you.
Yeah?
But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you.
Wait a minute.
And tell you all these stories myself.
Dude, wait, I'm being born right now.
But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Edith. Wow, it's really it's really deep. Like, it's insane. That's Lewis's. Don't do drugs, kids. Oh, that's Gus? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's Gus's kite. So, thanks, Johan. Thanks, Johan. Thank you. Bonjour, bonjour. Christy. Gus, Don, Gregory. This is Gregory right here. There's a little yeah, this is Gregory. Can we in the arms of the angels? Gregory. God damn frog killed him. Oh, this is Barbara Finch. Is that the crutch that did it all? That is chilling. This is what was his name? Chris? No. Something like that. Chris, bless. Molly. Don't do drugs, kids. That was that one guy that ate peaches. So, okay, those were peaches. Alright. I got hit by a train. Kate. Who's Kate? Oh, yeah, that's obviously Nicolas Cage. Of course. No, that's, You didn't get a drawing of half of them, though. Like, we needed Dawn. Odin. Play testers. Bro, why an RTS up there? That's sad. I play tested. Jojo innovate. Trick or treat, smell my feet. Give me something good to eat. If you don't, I don't care. Forgot the rest. Blah blah blah. The EDITH Finch team. The EDITH Finch team. Edith, Eddie, Dawn, Lewis. Whoa, what is that? What is that? What is that? The end. In the arms of the angel. Replay story option. Dude, so who the hell's Odin? Like... The replay story option is now available. Select Edith. Play from the... Okay. I mean, that's the end of it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, smash that like button. Smash that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.